Hola, happy Tuesday. Let me know if you guys can't hear me, and if you can hear me, say hi. Happy Tuesday. Even though I usually go live on Sundays, the reason why I didn't go live on Sunday is it was really because I had a lot going on. I was tied up. And to be honest, I also didn't have a message to share. A message didn't come to me until Sunday night, but also on Sunday night, I got rear-ended in a hit and run. Somebody rear-ended me on the freeway and drove off. Luckily, I got the license plate number. But yeah, so I've been dealing with that. But I was like, you know what? Tuesday, that's when I'm gonna deliver the message. But again, even if I didn't get into the car accident, I had a lot going on Sunday, and I didn't have anything to talk about. God didn't give me a message until Sunday night, probably because he probably knew I was going to have a chaotic day on Sunday. So he was like, you know what? You should probably put this message off until Tuesday. So I'm not going to give it to you until Sunday night. But yeah, enough about me. Today we're going to talk about how to stop ruminating thoughts and dwelling on the past. And if you see me looking down, I'm looking down at my notes. But most of our misery comes from dwelling on things we can't even change, such as the past. And the past is anything that happened prior to this moment. Anything that happened prior to November 18th, 3:34 p.m. There's nothing you can do to change it. There's nothing you can do to rewrite it. That's where a lot of our misery comes from. We subconsciously think dwelling on the past and replaying negative scenarios in our head, beating ourselves up over what we should have or could have done differently. We subconsciously think somehow that's going to rewrite history when it doesn't. It doesn't change the cycle of shame and guilt and regret. And I know because I used to be that person. I used to be the queen of dwelling on the past. I used to constantly have ruminating thoughts. And in case you're wondering, what is a ruminating thought? If it's pretty much the same as dwelling. Dwelling on the past and having ruminating thoughts are pretty much the same thing. I'll give an example. Let's say you go to an event and you have an interaction with somebody and it's awkward. You're socially awkward during the interaction. And after the event, long after you've left the event, you're constantly replaying that in your head. Like, I was so awkward. Why did I say that? Why did I do that? I was so nervous. And you keep replaying it. That's ruminating thoughts. And that's dwelling on the past because even if you were awkward or whatever, what can you do to change that? Literally nothing. So you have to just learn to accept it and make peace with it. And I'm saying this as a person who used to struggle with this heavily. I would obsessively replay negative scenarios ahead. I would constantly beat myself up, wishing I could have did things differently. And this really ate away at my self-esteem because it made me hate myself. It made me hate myself. It made me dislike myself because I was constantly criticizing myself. I was my biggest critic, my own worst enemy. What I've come to find, one of the things that helped me not to ruminate so much and dwell on the past so much is reminding myself that God is forgiving. And He knows we're going to F up. He knows we're going to make mistakes. Why you think He sent Jesus? Why you think He sent Jesus to die on the cross? Because He knew we was going to F up. He knew we was going to make mistakes. I feel like we be harder on ourselves than God is. We be harder on ourselves than God is on us. We are our own worst enemies. And here's the thing. Oh, sorry. Here's the thing. In the Bible, it says that we're born sinners. That doesn't mean when you're a baby, you're automatically like babies are innocent. Babies don't even have the ability to sin. But what I believe that means is born sinner is at some point in your life, you are going to sin. You are going to make a mistake. So we're all born sinners. So it's like we have to give ourselves grace. We have to give ourselves the same grace God gives us. If God is constantly telling us to be forgiving, what makes you think He's not forgiving? And what makes you think that if God is telling us to be forgiving, He just means for us to forgive other people? No, He wants us to forgive ourselves and give ourselves grace too. He wants us to forgive others and to forgive ourselves because He already forgave us. Well, I think a lot of times, if if you're a very caring person, if you're a very empathetic person, a lot of times you will have ruminating thoughts. You will dwell on the past because of the fact that you care. And sometimes, I'm going to be real, sometimes it's not that you care about another person, but sometimes we care about our ego. We care about people having a certain perception of us. We don't want people to have a negative perception of us. The perfect example is what I explained earlier. If you go to an event and you were socially awkward and you're constantly replaying that scenario back in your head, that's your ego. In that case, that's you're not replaying it or ruminating on it because you're like, oh, I hurt this person's feelings. I feel bad. Like, I regret that mistake I made. It's like, no, in that case, that's just your ego. And that's another thing that you have to be willing to let go. I embarrass myself all the time. Even doing these lives, my voice is constantly shaking and cracking because I have an anxiety disorder. But even so, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's not going to shut me up. I'm going to still come on here and deliver. I'm here to serve. I'm not here to serve my ego. I'm not here to serve myself. I'm here to serve God's children. I'm here to serve my brothers and sisters. So even though I'm not gonna lie, it can be a little embarrassing sometimes when my voice be shaking and cracking. At the same time, I don't care because it's really not about me. It's about who I can help. And that's another one of the things that helps me not to dwell on the past as much and ruminate as much is reminding myself that it's really not about me. Even though, like, yeah, I love myself and I value myself, my life, how I use my existence to help other people, that's what's the most important. That's what's the most important. It's not about like, oh, I don't want to look a certain way or I don't want, it's like, no, I'm just here to do whatever God calls me to do. That's it. Anything else, that's anything else, it really doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, to me, it doesn't really matter. So that's why I said I embarrass myself all the time. I'm cringy all the time. Like I'm awkward all the time. And it is what it is. And I ain't gonna lie, that's something I used to constantly beat myself up over. Like, really, it was perfectionism. Me wanting to be perfect, me feeling like I had to be perfect. But then I realized, Kyla, no matter what you do, you'll never be fucking perfect. So let that shit go. Let that whole idea of like, once I become perfect, then I'll be good enough. There's no such thing as being perfect. And you're already good enough as you are, as God made you. So, yeah, another thing that helps me is looking at the glass as half full. Always having a positive mindset, being able to find something positive in a negative situation, even if it's just a lesson. So let's say you do fuck up. Let's say you do something that you really regret. I'm sure if you really look at the whole situation, you can find something positive from that. Like I said, even if it's just a lesson, even if it's you learning a lesson, if it makes you a better person and it makes you wiser, then that's positive. So don't dwell on the negative because you can't change the negative. What's done is done. If you made a mistake, There ain't no eraser that you could be like, oh, can I go back to that chapter of my life and erase that? No, that shit is done. That shit is set in stone. And you just have to make peace with that. Another thing that helps me is learning to laugh at myself. Like I said, I embarrass myself all the time, but I know how to laugh at myself. I know how to laugh at myself and be lighthearted. Recently, I'm gonna be real. Recently, I made a kind of big mistake. And I don't want to go into the details because that's my business. But to some people, it wouldn't be a big mistake, but to me, it was kind of a big mistake. And I ain't gonna lie, the old me would have been like, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe blah blah blah. Like beating myself up. But this time, when it happened afterwards, I was just laughing. I was laughing at myself. I'm like, damn, Kyra. But I didn't beat myself up. I was just like, it is what it is. I'm not gonna let it happen again. I ain't gonna, do that again. I ain't gonna make that mistake again. But I'm also not gonna beat myself up about it because that's not gonna change what happened. Like it's not gonna change the past. It's not gonna erase it. And to be honest, even though it is kind of a big deal to me, in a grand scheme of things, it really wasn't that deep. It really wasn't the end of the world. I'm just so hard on myself. I'm just so hard on myself. So that's why I was kind of like, damn, like I can't believe I like made that mistake. But then I was like, well, it's not the end of the world. Like, what's done is done. I'm gonna just take it as a lesson. So that's another thing. You have to learn how to laugh at yourself. You have to learn not to take things so seriously. Because yeah, when it's all said and done, we all gonna leave this earth one day anyways. All this shit is temporary. So yeah, you gotta learn how to just let go and let God and not take life so seriously. And be patient with yourself and give yourself grace. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If this message blessed you, if it was helpful to you, please make sure you like it. Please make sure you subscribe. Let me read some of these comments in the chat. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm just not reading you guys' comments. You're a pretty lady. You shouldn't have issues with what others think. I know that's right. Thank you. You are who you are. I know that's right. You are too. You go, girl, slay. Okay. Thank you. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye. Love y'all.